Well, hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the first episode of What's Cooking in the Kitchen with Chef Harkness, or something like that. You know, as I'm sitting here cooking every night, I'm always, inspired to put what we're making online. So tonight, I want to talk to you a little bit about the dinner that we have, what we're throwing together. And when it's times that you're, looking for different things to make, and you're not sure, looking in the refrigerator. We can go a little bit ethnic and look a little bit outside the box. So we have an Indian-inspired dinner tonight. And what I have right now is I have chicken on the stove. Hey, Jack, how are you? This is live with Chef Harkness, cooking with Chef Harkness. And what I did was I took some chicken thighs. Now, I got home at 2:30, and these are frozen. So, got the package under some water, ran cold water for about 15 minutes on each side. And then I took the plastic off, the diaper, that part was still stuck to the bottom. But the other side I was able to season, even though it was frozen. I got it into the plancha, frozen. And by the time it was done cooking on one side, the other side just kind of peeled right off. And I was able to cook the chicken. So we went from frozen to cooked and seared and in the pan, pretty quickly. So we're going to take our chicken. This is going to be wrapped in tin foil. I'm going to finish the chicken in the oven. I have it set up back here. Make sure nothing's hot. Just in a regular dish. What is really important right now is that when we have our pan, okay, and we can see a lot of what we call fond in French, right? The melted, the fond de poulet, the fond of the chicken stuck to the bottom, and we don't want to ruin that. In school right now, we're making a biryani, and so I figured for dinner tonight, I would make a biryani inspired dish. So I'm going to use this pan, and I want to use all that fond and flavoring into my rice. So I'm going to get my pan back on, and I want to get that nice and low, and not high at all. I have some things already prepped up ready. I have garlic and ginger already cut up. I have some white potatoes already boiled and cooked. And in the back over here, I have celery, I have some carrots, and I have some green beans. Okay, that's going to be the basis for our curry tonight, or for our biryani. So we want to get this in. I'm going to grab a spatula, stir my garlic and ginger around, and then I'm going to want to get my veggies straight in. The veggies have so much water that what's going to end up happening is the water is going to come off the vegetables, and it's going to pick up all that flavor. It's going to pick up all that fond that's sticking to the bottom of the pan right now. So I don't have too much oil. Okay, I'm going to go around and just kind of move my garlic and ginger around, as you can see, right? And we're going to pick up that fond. Now, I have my garlic and ginger minced. I don't want them to burn. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add in my vegetables. Again, I have carrots, I have celery, and I have green beans. Okay, and I want to cook those in the pan, and we want to pick up all those flavorings. Okay, so we have those in there. I'm going to go ahead and move this around, and then we're going to season with salt and pepper. One of the things that we're really missing when we're cooking is seasoning. Okay, so I tell my kids in school that when you're cooking, it's like building a building. Okay, and we have to have a foundation, right? Which was our fond, our chicken fond. Then we had our garlic and ginger, were our flavorings. But we want to have a little bit of salt and pepper. My pepper mill is out right now, so I will go and use a little bit of ground pepper. Okay, better than anything. Right, and want to move this around. Right, what's starting to happen right now is we're starting to get water coming off of our vegetables. Right, we're sweating our vegetables, and it's going to pick up the fond. In Indian cooking, we have our spice mixture that's made over here, and I have cinnamon sticks, I have cashews, I have almonds, turmeric, cardamom pods, and coriander seeds. And there's a technique of cooking where you kind of toast your spices in oil before assembling. So I could have added my spices when I was sauteing my vegetables, but there was too much fond. And I was kind of worried that my pan may burn. You know, what's got to take the most precedence when you're cooking is your pan. Okay? So we're adding a little bit of water right now just to help that fond along. Okay, we don't want our pan to burn, and we don't want our pan to be too hot right now. And that water is going to evaporate right away. And after it evaporates, all the fond that was sticking to the bottom of the pan is now sticking to your vegetables. So we can go ahead and begin to cook. Okay? So, you know, each night when I'm coming home, you know, I really don't know what I'm going to cook. I kind of have an idea of what I want to make. But when I get home, it's really the ingredients that really talk to me and tell me, you know, what exactly it's going to be. All right. So I'm going to saute my vegetables, and they're looking great right now. I'm going to push my vegetables to the side. Okay? And we're going to talk about that technique where we're going to add our spices and we're going to get some flavor. So I have my pan, okay? And I'm going to put just a little bit of extra oil in our pan. Just a little bit. Okay? Don't want too much. Okay? And I'm going to go ahead and add my spices right in. All right, so I have a spice mixture. Right, we have cardamom seeds. Right, some. I don't know. Will you need it all? Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm gonna leave a little bit out, a little bit to be desired. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and cook those spices over a separate flame. So I have my veggies kind of still cooking on a low flame right now, and I have my my cashews, my almonds, cinnamon sticks. There's golden raisins, cardamom seeds, pods rather, and coriander. I'm going to turn this up just a little bit, and you know, you want to cook your spices until they become fragrant. Okay, here we see black cardamom pods. See whole green cardamom pods. Cardamom is incredible. You know, really reading up about cardamom and how healthy it is for you. It's good for your hair, antioxidant, and just some really great properties. The coriander seed and the almond. So we want to toast all of our items, and this is going to be the base for our biryani. I'm actually going to turn my right side off where my vegetables are. I think they've kind of cooked well enough, and they're going to finish cooking once I go ahead and add it to my my rice. So let's talk a little bit about rice. You know, we're cooking rice in school right now, and you know, as we're talking about, rice is one of our staples, something that we really need to you know, pay homage to, and this biryani really does. This is a great biryani. We're going to do a little bit of toasted coconut on top when we serve this at school, and some toasted almonds on top, and really help to give it some nice crunch, some nice flavor. But the spice mixtures, the vegetables, and the rice are just going to make for just an incredible dish. Some other items we have in the oven tonight. I have some acorn squash that I use some of my Indian spice with, and I quartered an acorn squash, put that into the oven, roasted it on high, and I'm covering it until it's soft all the way through. It should take about an hour, hour and a half for the squash. We also have a little bit of beans. These are some beans that I had, and I had sauteed some garlic, and we added some black beans and some pinto beans. Those are canned pinto beans, and we had a little bit of peeled tomato, and we're just letting that simmer. We're going to serve that next to our biryani. Aha! See, now I'm starting to get nice and toasted on my spices. You know, if you can see how nice that looks, and we're going to go ahead and mix this now in with our vegetables. Okay. So the flavors and aromas coming off this are just amazing. Oops, sorry, a little bit of difficulties today. But the aromas we're getting are really great. We're getting some really strong spices coming off of the cardamom and things like that. And this is looking really great. Okay, so we want to mix our vegetables in, and then we're going to go ahead and shut this off right now. Like I said, this is going to be the base for our biryani. Right, so I have a pot over here, all set up and ready to go. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my spice mixture right in. Spice mixture, veggies, cashews, golden raisins. I mean, so many great things. If you're not getting out and eating Indian cuisine, you're really missing out. They're one of our great cuisines of the world. Steeped in tradition and very, very old. Okay. All right. So this next part, what we're going to do is we're going to work on adding our rice in the peel-off fashion. And what that means is that we're going to add our rice into our base, and we're going to coat every grain of rice. This technique, actually out of the Middle East, very popularized in French cuisine, is the peel-off technique. So again, the peel-off technique, what we're going to do is right now, I have some basmati rice. I have 2 cups of basmati rice. And I'm going to go ahead and add that right in. I hear somebody chiming in right now. Oh, they just went away. We have Google, and somebody was chiming in. I don't know, maybe one of the kids. So I added 2 cups of rice, and I want to cook this. Just take a look at this right now, and it looks just amazing. You can see the rice cooking in there, and it's cooking in with our vegetables, and looks really incredible. I'm going to be setting the potatoes on top of the rice as soon as I finish putting this together. Okay, so again, we have our rice cooking, and I'm going to go ahead now and start to add my water. I know when it's ready because, one, we don't want to burn our rice. We don't want to toast it, but in the same respect, we do want it all covered. So we went with 2 cups of rice. So that means we're going to end up with 4 cups of water. Working with rice is a 2-to-1 ratio. And it's important that you get that ratio correct. One, that you're measuring accurately. And secondly, that you're not peeking at your rice while it's cooking, and you're not stirring your rice. Peeking at the rice to see if it's done is a waste of time. If you're cooking your rice on a low flame, you should bring your rice to a boil, putting it down to a low flame. Rice covered takes anywhere, 15, 17 minutes. So my rule of thumb at school, I've been telling the kids this year, is 15 for 15. Now we're using induction burners. So we're running, a number system 1 through 100. So 15 is pretty low. If that was a low flame, that would be probably the lowest setting that you have. And that's after it comes to a boil. What's really important is that you get that covered. We don't want to lose the ratio. So that's going to be in there. So we have our rice all set and ready to go. I'm going to turn my beans off. My beans have been simmering. And I'm going to go ahead and take a look at my chicken right now. The chicken looking amazing. We have that in the pan. And, remember, we started cooking this when it was frozen. So what we want to do right now is we want to get this into the oven. You hear Daisy barking in the background, our lovely Daisy. We love her. And we're going to cover this with tin foil. I'm going to cover this and put this in the oven for about 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, be careful, the pan could be a little hot. But we have the caramelization we have on this. We rendered out a lot of the skin, so we're ready to go into the oven now. All right. So I have my acorn squash in there. I'm using my small oven, and I'm going to be using my bottom rack and getting that in there. And we'll have Alexa, set a timer for 50 minutes.
50 minutes, starting now.
All right, so we're on 425, and we're going to let that run.
Here's something I found on the web.
Alexa.
Record.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Unbelievable. All right, so we have this in really well. And, this is vegetarian. There's nothing in here. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, take a clean spoon, and I'm going to taste this. And just as I thought, I needed some salt. It's important that you're seasoning as you're cooking and tasting your food. Now, if there was something raw in here or something, you have to be a little more careful of. But being that it is a vegetarian item, vegetable biryani, we can go ahead and taste that. Okay. So we're just gonna stir in very gently, not overboiling this. Now again, it's important we talked about covering this, all right, and getting a tight lid on it. I have my potatoes, and what I'm gonna do is as soon as this comes to a boil, I'm gonna be adding my potatoes on the top. So as this cooks, those are gonna be right up in there, all right? All right, so we're just about coming to a boil right now. I'm gonna go ahead and start adding my potatoes. Again, my potatoes have been cooked. I'm trying to back off on them just a little bit. You know, potatoes probably cooked about 98% of the way. And they're gonna finish cooking inside of there. Hey Daisy, we can put you in the oven next, you know. You wanna go in the oven next, Daisy? We'll have a little fricassee of Daisy. What do you think? Good idea? I don't think so. All right, so we have those in there. And I'm gonna put the lid on this right now. You can use anything you want. You could use a bowl over the top, okay? You could put a lid on top of this, or you can grab any pan, really that's close enough, okay? So as this comes to a boil right now, I'm gonna take my pan, I'm gonna cover this, and we're gonna turn this down, and we're gonna go about 15-20 minutes, not checking it until about 15-17 minutes, but we should be right on the money. We're not gonna go with too high of a flame. We have a lot of sediment and things that are in this, and we don't wanna burn our rice. All right, so that is a little bit of cooking dinner tonight with Chef Harkness. Hope you enjoyed. And you know, we had our biryani, our chicken, our stewed tomatoes with beans and pinto beans, and it looks to be a good dinner tonight. Look for some pictures on Facebook and on Instagram. Thank you so much. Have a great evening, everyone.